Well, isn't that odd? Thought this was all turned off. I thought you couldn't use Hangouts anymore without using StreamYards, but apparently that's wrong. This is directly into YouTube. Well, isn't that cool? Wonder when they decided to turn this option back on. So we have Hangouts back again. Okay. Hey, good morning, whoever stopped in. I was just tinkering around. I thought I'd go in and check that scrolling banner and see what's going on with it. And I saw this sitting up there in YouTube and hit go live, and it went live without StreamYards. I wonder if that's got anything to do with the new rules that we're supposed to be accepting this morning. But I didn't see that notice pop up either for us to accept the new terms of service, where you accept all liabilities for your content. Yeah, well, give us the ability to lock out bad content permanently, like IP ban bad content. Wild edibles. Good morning. It's yeah, it's I wouldn't even know where to begin to look to pass out a link to bring anybody up, because you can't do that when you go live like this. But this was not supposed to work anymore. Hangouts was not supposed to be available anymore, and it turned right on. I can't explain why. Right, and it needs to be an IP ban. It needs to not only be you stop the bad content people coming in from typing in your chat, but you ban them from being able to affect your channel ever again, period. No matter what name they create, no matter what email they come from, it bans the IP, period. Done. They have the ability. They thrive on the drama, though. They understand. It's financial. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Oh God. Yeah, I meant to do that year in review video and cover other stuff, and I totally got sidetracked. And I saw what time it was, and I'm like, I don't want to run this video forever. Oh. If you've got friends in the UK that have shown any interest in gardening or yard work or what have you, turn them on to my book. Amazon UK screwed up, and they lowered the price of my book £7. It's like a $1.30, $1.50 per pound. So they're selling the Green Wizard's Guide for £3, and I still get paid full price. That's the Amazon agreement for hosting the book. So everybody in the UK should slam the UK Amazon, grab the book, and for everyone I get paid, whatever full price commission BS is. Uh, uh, well, see, that's just it. That's just it. if you're accepting full liability for your channel and then you're going out and causing havoc with your channel, should it ban the entire house's IP address from your internet provider? Should it ban all devices attached to that channel? Or should it just ban the computer that's causing the havoc or telephone that's causing the havoc? Where do you draw the line? Uh, yeah, my scripted videos do a whole lot better when I actually have content in mind, specific, follow a basic guideline, and then shut it off. Well, now the rumor was, and I don't know how they're going to be able to do this. I'm still. StreamYards has given you the ability to block somebody from being able to enter your StreamYards live stream, even if you put the link up, they can't click through and enter. They've also stopped them from being able to change the name continually of their channel to come in under a different name. So it's either you come in under your channel name or you don't come in. Now, supposedly, if a channel gets banned enough times on enough live streams, YouTube's going to get involved. They're two separate entities, two separate companies. I don't see them sharing the information like that. I don't know. I don't know. I think then somebody at YouTube needs to be looking at it, and not just, oh well, they said something bad one time and it got reported because there's a snowflake. See, that's the issue. If they chased every single snowflake complaint, they'd have to have an entire department of thousands of people for every snowflake out here that got their feelings hurt. Where do you draw the line? But what's cost efficient? I mean, it's just like I just left a channel. Good people, what have you? They did a fundraiser for somebody who's incapable of receiving an income and won't work and won't monetize, but is willing to, because that, any income or something like that will affect their benefits. Yeah, perfectly willing to take handouts. It's still an income as far as the IRS is concerned. Any handout, and it all has to be reported. You can't just take that money and run. Even if you were given a plane ticket, you can't just accept the plane ticket. That's why, a lot of these AM game shows that used to be out there and super prevalent, like The Price is Right. You had to have the cash in hand or in your bank account, what have you, to receive any of those items. A lot of people would go in there and spin the wheel and win the car, and then not be able to afford the taxation in California and the other states' taxation because it's a gambling win. They're not going to disassemble the car and give you what you can afford or take it. See, and a lot of people don't know, you know, yeah, you can get free tickets to that show, but unless you can financially afford the gift, they won't air that show. They'll just make another show. COPA is just online tracking. It's the pedophile mania. Now think about when that law was written back in '84. there's so many pedophiles coming out of the woodwork now. They're trying to make it legally considered a disease, something they can treat. That's what it was initially set up for. Now they have perverted the law, of course, to now be online tracking of children in any way, shape, or form. It's two different sets of rules. See, where YouTube screwed up is they took out the middle category. There's a middle category in the COPA ruling. There's the kids content, kids and family content, and adult content. Well, the new YouTube ruling didn't address the in between, and that's the giant gray area. But that's also the place where the big channels exist that are making a killing. So it's really convenient that YouTube didn't categorize that group. Now, if you read the COPA and you listen to the attorneys and you talk to the FTC, it's about online children tracking. If you don't have comments turned on, kids can't comment on your videos, you're not liable, whether you accept the liability or not. The only one capable of tracking it is those with cookies turned on. Now they've got these other channels convinced, well, if you hit adult only, you'll never get any commercials. Okay. I mean, it's amazing. You go around to some of these live channels and you listen to what their understanding of COPA is, and it just blows your mind. It's like none of that wording is anywhere in the COPA ruling. None of that is written anywhere. Where did you people get your information? Do you just make this stuff up as you go? Was it at the bottom of the liquor bottle? What the hell? Right. Well, okay, we're going into winter. We're going into Christmas. Here come all the children's BS ads. Toys R Us is going to open their doors again and start selling toys. So here come the ads. YouTube wants their piece of the pie on this. And here comes all this children tracking stuff. It's like, wait a minute. YouTube a long time ago said that kids under a certain age were not allowed to come into YouTube and build channels anyhow, or even have channels. Yet there's an 8-year-old, that was it Ellen? I think it was she was premiered on the Ellen show. She's a million followers, what have you, and she comes on at 8 years old and does her own makeup and a huge paid for channel with or without parental consent. That is still an 8-year-old child sitting in front of the camera and no adult visible, in violation of all the rules. But because it makes money for YouTube, it's okay. Well, not per COPA, but per the YouTube rules, it's in violation, but that's okay. So, yeah, what's good for the goose, right? I don't begin to fathom how you can apply and this is the funny part. Everybody's freaking out. Okay, it's $42,000. It's 42,000, and it's not $42,000 fine. It's a percentage of your income per that video, per the amount of income made per those COPA, the FTC to bother with you if you're not a multi-million follower channel. COPA is not going to bother with you. It costs too much to even start the paperwork legally to come after you. You have to be worth something. And when we're getting when the ads are paying something like 0.003 cents per ad, they're not coming after you. Now they're saying what was not commercially viable. So if you're just going to sit here and cuss the entire stream, you're not commercially viable. So they're not going to allow you to have a channel. No, they're going to use that excuse when you have made so many violations they can kick you out. Well, you're not a commercially viable channel. You're too, but too Republican, too liberal, too gun toting, too Second Amendment, too, you know what I mean? They're going to go wherever the money is. Trust me. Ugh. Well, either way, even if her grandfather's helping her, it's still a child actor in violation of the rules, doing the entire show in violation of the rules. It's a channel that should have been taken down. It should never have been allowed to get to millions. I mean, we were on stream one night at Bobby's, hardcore content, and these two girls that were live streaming, BSing to each other, you could tell neither one of them's parents were home. They were both home alone, latchkey kids. They had found Bobby's channel live, so they came in to get people to come over to their live. And it was extremely obvious these two girls were excessively underage and had no business being on YouTube, running live streams, nonetheless. And there they are, punching in the door past the copyright ruling, or Bobby's saying adult content only a few months ago. There's the kids. Where's the parents? I thought this wasn't supposed to. I thought you weren't supposed to be, allowed to do this. Nobody monitoring it. Nobody watching it. Nobody caring. It just, we need to stop the granny state. We need to hold the parents responsible. Period. Get it over with. Hey, good morning, buddy. Yeah, they need to leave the content creators alone, and close the door on the underage kids utilizing full out YouTube. A 6-year-old does not need to come into a channel under any content and see a ED commercial, whether they're tracking it or not. Those kids shouldn't be here. If the parent is allowing them to get on their phone or get on a computer under the parent's account, then it needs to be the parents held liable for it. There needs to be consequences to the parent. Why would you blame the creators? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it's like, saying, well, you did a cat video. Why? Because a cat is sitting on a bench behind me? That's not a cat video. And this is sure as hell not meant for kids to be on this channel. But yet I'd be held liable because some kid came in here and said, oh, look at the pretty cat. Well, I'm going to sit and watch this channel and I'm underage. I don't belong in here. Dude. Exactly. Now I love this. I love this new one. And this one, it stirs so many people. It gets so many people worked up. It's like, here's the snowflake button, everybody. Be prepared. Obesity is a disease and you can contract it. So blame the fork. Outlaw forks. That's about how much sense blaming guns is. Blaming the gun manufacturer. Because Was it Wisconsin? I may be wrong. Somebody can correct me, but Wisconsin just took off the age restriction and age limitation on when children can go hunting. The age restriction is now gone. What they're not saying is there's a class they must attend and they have to be with an adult while hunting. So weapons training will take place and the correct use of weapons will be, but oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, here comes the nanny state. You can't let a 3 year old go hunting. Seriously, they're still in diapers. Nobody's going to drag their 3 year old with them to go hunting. Come on. A 3 year old can't pull the trigger. Get over yourselves. I mean, most of these people that are making up these rules have never had kids. I love looking at these books and you know this is how to make a relationship work. And I'm a doctor and I have a degree in it and I'm a psychologist, which is the biggest joke in the world. But I'm a psychologist, so I'm totally qualified to tell people how to run their marriages and how to live their lives and what have you. Even though I've been married 6 times. Yeah, you're somebody I want to listen to. Oh, there you go. There you go. Perfect example. Yeah. Yeah. A 3 year old can decide what gender they want to be. Yeah. That's not parental influence. I just love this new one. What? Oh God. What state is it? It's one of these states that's being affected by the fleeing of Californians. That's another one that's making me sick. But oh yeah, if the child is in a broken home and the father's paying the bills, the state will now force the father to financially fund, even though he's got no visitation, they left the state, but he's still paying. He has to pay for the uh, uh, re-sexual orientation of the child, and he has no say so in it. Excuse me? Yeah, I don't even want to. I don't even want to. Oh God. Yeah, it's just. I mean, the things that the nanny state has come up with, just wow, just unbelievable. Oh my God, and the stuff they want to force down people's throats. You can't homeschool yet. Kids are going to school, first grade, that can't even spell their names because the parent was too busy getting their nails did and their hair done to spend time with that child to teach that child how to read and write before they ever got to school. So the kid can't even physically spell their own name going into first grade. And we can't have any child left behind. So we have this curve. So that entire class is going to have to lower its level of training to match that kid to bring that one child up because no kid is left behind in schooling. I again, again, parents not being held liable. If your kid is in school raising that much havoc, then something needs to be happening to your income. Maybe you need to do some time because your child doesn't know how to act correctly in school. I mean, it's right. It's biblically. Everybody has heard it. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, wait till you see this new generation coming up. Yeah, there's two of them on my street. Oh, and you put the two of them side by side in front of a chalkboard with a piece of chalk, and they can't spell one. Between the two of them, it's that bad. Wow, just, just wow. It's well, back in the day, you used to have to file for a marriage certificate, and you had to have blood tests. Miss Carla, good morning, dear. You had to have a blood test. Now, part of that blood test to get the license was to track the DNA and check the DNA to see if the DNAs and the blood types and what have you were compatible. And they say it's for one thing, but it was actually for another. Uh, there was more to getting a marriage certificate when you had to get the blood tests because they didn't want brother and sister getting married. Well, they don't do that anymore. So the system knows what it's doing and is allowing brothers and sisters to get married and creating these hillbilly kids. At least that's what they used to call them. I don't even know what you call them anymore. Um, just you close all the asylums and you leave all the people in the street, and eventually the brain matter lowers to that level, and you can't even recognize the people that used to be in the asylum because everybody's acting that way because it's acceptable in public. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to be nice about it though, Carla. You know, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked, Noodles. That would not. I kind of got around those people for a while when I was working in apartment management. Um, one of the towers I was in was strictly of that descent of that religion. Um, but they're real tight knit about what they talk about. They don't share information. That yeah, well, but the rest of the public around the world doesn't have to worry about that. So they can go right ahead and breed and produce anything. And it'll be allowed on the streets because we're lowering the levels. And it's like nobody is paying any attention to this. Nobody is realizing any of this. it, wow. But the world claims to be woke. I No, you're not. No, you're not. Just wow. It just blows my mind. And if you come in here on YouTube and you start to speak in your mind and you start pointing out these issues and these problems, you're not commercially viable, so you're not allowed on YouTube no more because that's controversial and we can't have that. Um, Um, yeah. Right, Carla. And that actually is the kitty. That's the baby. That's the youngest one and the last one we'll have. He's kind of an odd duck. He chose his name, Baby. Oh well, absolutely. And if we erase history, then we're going to continue to repeat it. Think that through, or we'll just create a whole new religion, Kwanzaa. Now I'm not knocking. Wait, no, I'm not. But they're claiming that is a continental African religion thing. Yeah, you go into any of their houses and they're all decorated for Christmas until right after Christmas. Then they're decorated for Kwanzaa. You go to Africa, and I only say this because I have some friends from Africa. They've never heard of it, so it's a brand new religion, and it deserves every right to make sure more people have more time off for a made up religion in the 70s. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. Yeah, all I know is that the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and all of this, all of this was supposed to. This is what triggers it. This is what really sets me off. All of this was supposed to not take place for another few years, but Queen Hillary wanted her piece of the pie before she died, so she jumped the gun and pushed the agenda too early because they wanted to make sure that there were no from the Korean conflict still alive. That was the schedule. Hey, Brad. Good morning. So yeah, they really screwed this up. They jumped way too early, and now the so-called woke people that haven't got a clue, that want $15 an hour to work at McDonald's and can't make change on a register. Yeah, these woke people. Oh, just like that coffee shop, the police officers while on duty went into that coffee shop in California to get coffee, and they were leaving. They weren't sitting down to drink the coffee; they were leaving. But it upset some of the customers, so that the police officers were asked to leave and told that they were not allowed to come there and be customers because they had guns on coffee, or they were not allowed in this establishment. My connection is unstable. Please wait while we reconnect. Oh, I'm buffering really bad then, aren't I? Well, this was just a test, anyways. It's not because I'm on Hangouts. This was no longer supposed to be functioning. But I turned Hangouts on this morning and we're here. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. But Hangouts go live turned on this morning. I don't know why. You're not seeing the buffer? Okay. Because the router's showing a little bit, but it's not too bad. Oh. So what have you been up to, Carl? I haven't seen you in a while. I don't have any Green Wizard updates other than to say, hey, turn all your friends from the UK onto the book. There's an agreement that all authors have with Amazon that we set a price, and Amazon can fluctuate the price any way they wish to attempt to run up sales on a specific book to get it out of their warehouses or whatever, but they agree to pay us full price. Well, Amazon UK screwed up and dropped the price of the book £7. It is now £3 sale price for the paperback and the electronic at the same price. So I think it's like £3.7 or whatever the hell that means. But if you type in amazon.uk.com and then go look at the Green Wizard's guide, you'll see that it's slashed price. They cut it way down. So everyone in the UK needs to jump on this and empty the bank vaults of Amazon UK because per the agreement, I still get paid full price for the book. So good job, Amazon. Thank you very much. So tell everybody in the UK, grab this book. They might actually have fun reading it, whether they ever use it or not, because there's some really weird rules in the UK. They have trouble even taking a shovel to their yard to plant a garden without permission. Some weird stuff going on over there. But their definition of what an organic field is versus what our idea of what an organic, there's some real weirdness going on there. So yeah, tell all your friends in the UK, jump on this book. If they've been waiting for it or they're looking for the weird gift for the odd guy, whatever, for £3, yeah, let's empty the bank vaults at Amazon. Give that money to me. Right. Well, yeah, my little burb. So what's me, neighbors? I got permission. I got permit. It only cost me £85, but I'm allowed to put a shovel in the dirt in my own yard. Look at me. I need a permit just to watch TV because I'm so special. It's a weird country, boy, let me tell you. You need a license to own a TV, not turn it on, to own the TV in England. Oh, yeah, great people over there. I'm not kidding, dude. Look into it. Look into it. And I don't. They have an entire section of the government set up that goes around and checks. They can actually get a search warrant to search the house to see how many TVs are there and seeing if they're paying their license per TV in the house. So weirdest thing. Get right. Yeah, Philippines people are incredible. Yeah, their soils are still suffering just as much. I don't know how to track their sales over there. I don't know if they have their own Amazon .ph whatever. But um, yeah, there's a couple of incredible channels. One of them comes in here, cooking channel. Great, great, great lady, great supporter. I have not seen a lot of her videos lately. I don't know if she's still up and running or but yeah, the Philippines and the Philippine creators, there's, yeah, and they stick together. That whole community sticks together hardcore. Well, hell, send them my way, Carla. I need more. I am 5 short of 600, and I mean the growth rate that the channel's been going, I didn't expect to get to 500 until the new year. I'm 5 short of 600. I don't know how I got here all of a sudden, but I had this huge jump, and it's not stopped. It's just a continual. It's like 3, 4, 5 people a day are picking up on the channel. It's really weird. The flip side to this is there's another book. Um, we all know Glenda Bills. We all know her circumstance. Um, her and her husband are leaving a 200-acre farm to go up there and be with her daughter. And at their age, they cannot handle and should not be even thinking about handling a 200-acre farm. I want that farm. I want that farm badly to do the next book, but I got to sell a bunch of books to get to that point. Oh, well, I hit a couple of homesteaders Monday with the book. One of them is very outspoken. She is also a editor, as I understood it to be her job. I don't know if she works out of the house or what the story is. Um, but she and her husband now have the book. They were supposed to get it in the mail yesterday, and we'll see. We'll see. Just watch to see if I pop open a new what's the word? Oh damn! Shut up. Hey, see if I pop up a new book review. That's it, book review. Where another channel has said something about the book, good or bad. I don't care. I'll post it here. Um, I know a couple of people are putting the book to the test first before they want to say anything, um, but they're not following the whole system. And I call them on it when they start their videos. It's like, no, you're missing a step. Well, well, you never know, Carla. I don't like talking about channels that aren't here. If they're not in the chat, I really don't like bringing up their names. Only because of all the drama. Oh my God, they said something about you, and then they instantly go off and instantly. So I don't. If the channel's not here, I don't talk about them. But yeah, there's I feel bad about that channel and leaving that channel because we would turn on and we'd have 20 people in there laughing their asses off and having a great time. And now the average viewer is 3. So I kind of feel bad, but Did it to herself. Yeah, really. I, I, how do you call that a craft? I mean, if you go back and watch some of our really old stuff over there, uh, yeah, I call her on some of that stuff because it's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't craft nothing. You just sat there. You didn't. You bought a kit. Reap what you sow. What's going on? Hmm. Well, Carla, and I try not to bring it up. Um, I would love to be traveling the country to do this, um, and really get the word out. I really like that. Would be great. I'm not into flying. There's my first downfall because Homeland Security and me just don't. We have a mindset that don't match. Um, did you get it yet? Because I thought I heard, was no, it might not have been you. You may not be Amazon Prime. Um, anyhow, just like I did my so-called year in review, and in a year's time, and I forgot to mention this, I've produced and gotten, and these are some funny numbers now. If you guys actually follow numbers, I have 1,150 hours watch time. My average viewers that watch my videos are 3 minutes. So break up 1,150 hours by 3 minutes, and that'll tell you how many videos I think I produced or how many people have actually watched. Um, that's a lot. Now, if I actually got them to watch the entire videos, wow. Hey, Casey, how you doing this morning, dear? Blessings be with you. Reap what you sow, and I think I told you this before. It's not a normal book. There's a few people here that have it. Casey Detox Diva has read it, and like she pointed out, there's an issue in the gluing of the spine, um, depending on where the book comes from. All right, BJ, we'll talk to you. Okay, Carla. Um, but yeah, for me to go out and hit all these homesteading conventions and what have you, um, I'm too far in the hole, even putting the book out, to even walk out my front door. To be traveling the country on a dime that I don't have. Yeah, I need to, I've sold 400 books. I think I bought half of them, and I need 30,000 sold to get out from underneath it. To even begin to think about traveling the country to talk about this book and what we can potentially do. So that's not in the cards. It's just not. Um, I have another avenue I have not explored yet. Um, that could take the book in other directions, but again, I have to re-edit the book, and it's going to cost me. It's going to cost me a lot that I don't have, and I'm not snowplowing, so I can't afford to pull out of the hole on this. But I'm not giving up. Like I told Casey, I believe back when we did the review on her channel for this book, God put this on me, would not let me get away from it. It constantly haunted me. It was in my head for years. It would not go away. I would go to sleep thinking about it. I would wake up thinking about it. My mistake was I didn't type any of it in a computer. I wrote it down by hand. Big, huge mistake. Um, but I'm not giving up. God put it there. I'm not giving up. This message has to be delivered. When you're used to an average tomato plant growing to maybe 5 feet long, and then you follow this system, and within 2 months to 3 months time, you're looking at a plant that's 18 to 19 feet long in the same soil. Yeah, totally, totally, totally different way of gardening. And there's no weeds, nothing to work on. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio area, so I get the worst of both worlds. I get the cold with or without the snow, and I get the decent weather. Now, if I were in Kentucky or North Carolina, um, I would probably have even better results. That my grow season would be stretched out and last longer because the soils would be so much more conducive. Um, it's like, what was it, 80 yesterday in parts of Texas? I mean, come on. I'd have an incredible garden in Texas if I were in Texas. It'd be phenomenal. But I need shit. I mean, I've tried to talk to Glenda. I haven't had a real chance to talk to Glenda Bills um, about her farm, Elegant Homestead. I need to sell. I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what the value is. It's not on the market at this point. Um, but I'm thinking, I need to be in the neighborhood of 500,000 books sold to even entertain buying her 200 acres and start developing the next book. Um, it'll happen. It'll happen. Whether I get her property or a different property is yet to be seen. It just depends on when the book hits. Mm. Oh, keeping track of the tomato vine is nothing. That's a joke. And when you're not wasting your time with the weeding, and I mean legitimately wasting time weeding, um, when you eliminate all of that, and all of that's in the book, um, yeah, yeah, you get incredible crop production. You never water. You don't need to. Um, the pests, it would depend on what pests you're dealing with. If you're talking about the ones that come in and raid your plants and attack the plants, this is what I keep trying to tell everybody. All of our plants, um, all of our plants produce natural defenses, natural enzymes, natural pest repellents. All of them do. The only time Mother Nature attacks a plant is when there's something wrong with the plant. And we're not talking about just coming in and eating the fruits. We're talking about the plant itself protecting itself from an invasive species. They have natural defenses. It works in the food web. It also works in the down the food chain. That there are natural defenses that the plants put out that make the food and the plant not taste good to these invasive species or bugs attacking the plants. When the plant is healthy, that's where people miss the boat of what I'm trying to say with all of this. When you address the food web and you start at the bottom, and it's like, if you're going to do an incredible painting, you don't start on a piece of paper. You start on an incredible canvas and good paint. You don't use Crayola crayons and expect to get the Mona Lisa. Okay. When you just throw seeds in the dirt, that's kind of what you're doing. When you get the food web and your soils correct, You have the right canvas with the best paints. People miss that part of the book. They overlook that part where I say all your plants are defending themselves. But when they're so weak because of the NPK process and because of the chemical spraying and because of using tap water, city tap water to water your garden, again, another big mistake. Don't do that. Let your water breathe at least 24 hours before you put it on any plants because it's toxic. It's got chlorine in it. It's got other chemicals in it that they put in the water to protect the plumbing from the water purification plant to your house. And you know how lead poisoning works, right? Well, it's the same difference with city water. Don't water your plants with city water. That said, when you make a healthy plant because you have a healthy food web, and it's like, this book, everyone wants to say this is for gardeners. No, no. You have to treat your whole yard the same way you treat your garden because the food web can reach out a mile to bring back what it needs for your individual plant. Every plant is different. Every plant wants something different. But when you give it a full broad spectrum throughout your entire yard, something, and they've tested this on farms, acres and acres and acres of farms. They've sprayed a pesticide on one side of the farm, 25 acres away. And within 20 minutes, the other side of the farm is already starting to respond to that chemical spray. To say it's like the movie Avatar, where they talk about the plants talking to the plants to the hundreds of degrees. That's what the food web is. Now, they did not write that book or write that movie and put that together with the food web in mind. But plants communicate to plants. Your tomatoes growing in your garden, raised bed or not, communicate with the grass right next to it. And when you put a pesticide down here, it's going to get into your plant and you're going to eat that. When your grass is healthy and doesn't need a pesticide, your garden doesn't get the pesticide either. The food web is that intense. Your entire yard needs to be, that's like a lot of people around here, they want to take their garden and put it right on the property line. And they treat their yard organically, yet the neighbor, not an inch to 2 inches away, is coming in with Roundup and spraying along the edge of that bed. And then the person's got this real low production out of their garden thinking they've done something wrong. They didn't. Their neighbor, inches away, had a direct effect on the entire garden. I don't care how big the garden is. The food web's that intense. And it's huge. When it's been tested under a microscope, a mile in a teaspoon, when they unraveled this thing on a microscope, a mile long for one single cell organism, a mile long. That's the food web. That's what's going on in the soil. You've got to treat the soil like a living creature because it is a living creature. And as soon as you go along those routes and follow that routine, your garden and your yard do some incredible stuff. It's phenomenal what can happen. There you go. And with the lawsuits that are currently out there, Casey, against Roundup, your entire complex, and there is a thing called a tenant's bill of rights. Okay. Your entire complex needs to be going back at the property management company, threatening them with a lawsuit to stop them from doing that. Hand them a copy of my book and say, look, there's another option, but spray Roundup again and we're taking you to court. Hey, Miss Claudia. Good morning, beautiful. How are you today? Oh, yeah, it's actually called the Tenants Bill of Rights. Every state has a different set of those codes. But if they've sprayed Roundup in your complex, they've potentially given everybody a form of cancer. They've got a huge problem on their hands. Doesn't matter who it is. Property management is still the owners. They're legally liable for what their lawn service does. They're legally liable for what maintenance does. They're legally liable for what the lawn service does. Period. And the amount of damage that Roundup does, water filtration companies, the plumbing, the soils, Roundup, just like so many other chemicals, does not come out of the water. Once it's in there, it's in there. Even if it's 1 parts per million, it's still toxic. And when you start ingesting this kind of stuff, it does all sorts of weird stuff to your brain and to your joints and to your whole. Oh God, oh God, I can't scream loud enough how bad this stuff is. I've been saying it for years. And when I put stuff down in my yard to deal with, and I don't misunderstand, I don't deal with pests. Now, yeah, you're going to get your fleas and ticks. You're going to get your, you know, we still have wild animals coming up out of the woods, and these bugs fall off and what have you, and if whatever. So I still treat my yard. Don't misunderstand. With all the animals I have in my house, I have to treat my yard. But when I treat my yard barefoot. And I walk in the stuff, and my animals walk in the stuff. There's no problem. When I treat my yard and feed my yard and put chemicals down in my yard, if you want to call them chemicals, they're not chemicals, they're nature. When I put these things down in my yard, I am barefoot walking in my yard at the same time I'm putting this stuff down, because there's no health risk to me or my pets or any other animal coming through my yard, yet it's pest free. So I don't fear it in any way, shape, or form. Heck, the animals eat some of it. Now, animals know better. They know from taste what to eat and what not to eat. Okay. And this stuff is found in their food anyhow. It just has some neat effects and side effects on plants and soil and bugs and what have you. It has zero effect on my animals, and they eat it. Zero effect. And I've been doing it for years. If it was going to cause a problem, it would have already done it. Um, yeah, my neighbors are just blown away by the production that I get out of my yard. You should have seen the looks on their faces with the radishes. Now, some of you have actually gone over and watched that radish video. And like I tell you, you don't need to listen to it. Just scroll over it and you'll see the size of the radishes I produce. That's the soil. It's incredible. It's what we're capable of doing with Mother Nature's own remedies. And they're all listed in the book. I've got nothing there to hide. Oh, yeah, Casey, this This isn't StreamYards. This is Hangouts. I was able to turn Hangouts on this morning and come straight in. Um, oh, Claudia too, because I know you guys live stream. This is directly in Hangouts. There's no now I can't bring anybody up that I'm aware of with a Hangouts link, but this is directly in Hangouts, directly live. So it's still functioning, or they've turned it back on. So Hangouts is still available. And I also understand, I don't know that it affects you, Casey, but StreamYard's phone bypasses the 1,000 followers to stream ruling for some reason. Um, so people with their phones that have less than 1,000 followers can actually stream on their phones, stream live, and not have the restriction. Um, Now, how much is going to change today? I don't know. Um, I have not. I mean, I saw some of the wording on some of this stuff, but I didn't catch all of it. I haven't seen the full document yet as to what our new accepted terms of usage are. Um, but just like the new scrolling banner that is now in StreamYards, you can have a scrolling banner running across the bottom of your screen the entire time. Um, Whether you're asking for a prayer for somebody or like in my case, have running a coffee fund, what have you. Um, I know there was some BS about running a fundraiser for me to cover the costs of the website because I just got hit with another $500 bill. Look, the book will get there. The book will get there. I appreciate the thought. Um, but yeah, that's where we're at. Ugh. Right. Well, I'm just saying there's other viable options for other followers of ours that have less, that want to build up their channels. They can live stream through StreamYards when we're all used to that old restriction. um, yeah, this should be an interesting year coming up. And I don't know why everybody is trying to assimilate the two rulings together. Today's new terms of agreement with uh, YouTube and the FTC. It's two separate entities. It's two separate problems. It's two separate issues altogether. Um, it goes into a much further explanation, but they're two separate things. People are losing their minds for no reason. It's two completely separate things. Yeah. If in doubt, turn off people being able to leave comments or read comments. That's children tracking. Just turn it off. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to declare yourself a child channel, whatever. Just turn off comments. If they cannot track a person that's making comments in your live stream or on your videos, then there's no tracking of a child. You're safe. That's their own rules. Don't let them do it, because if they do it, they instantly recategorize your entire channel. Do it yourself. Self regulate. Shindig April 3rd and 4th. And what's that about? Is that a homesteaders thing? Oh, right, absolutely, Casey. And that's just it. People, they're freaking out over nothing. Just go with it. Um, because they're not going to turn off the small channels when the big channels are the ones that are potentially going to get hit in January. They need the content creators. They're not shutting everybody out. Oh, right. Yeah, if that's a homesteading thing, reap what you sow. I, I may be there. I have no clue what this is going to do yet. Um, and I prayed with Casey with it on her channel. It's in God's hands. This book will go where it needs to go. It'll get talked about amongst the people that need to hear it, and hopefully, the people that need to hear it are listening at the time somebody's talking about the book. You can take a horse to water. They can be complaining about a problem in their yard, or a problem in their garden, or not yielding enough, or dealing with flooding, um, which is another side effect of bad soil. Uh, if they're not ready to hear, I can't help them. Um, Eventually, the right channel is going to step up and get behind the book, and it may overnight take off, which would be phenomenal. But it's in God's hands. I leave it at His feet. I did what He asked me to do. I wrote the book. If it takes off and goes further, we'll see. Well, if circumstances set themselves up, um, yeah, I'll probably be there. I'll probably be there. I don't know that I'll have any books with me, but I'll probably be there if things set themselves up. Oh yeah, because the outside rules are now coming in. You're right, Casey, and it's going to continue to change, and it needs to, because even if the parents aren't willing to accept the liability and the responsibility for their own children, the content needs to be viable for those children. And we're not talking about the children of today. What's going to happen to the children 10 years from now? This is all a growing process. It's going to expand and then contract, expand and then contract. I mean, it's a living being. Um, and somewhere along the line, somebody's got to step in and take control, because things get out of whack really easy, really fast around here. But yeah, if circumstances change, reap what you sow, and the book takes off and gets somewhere, and I'm not talking about the channel, I'm talking about the book itself, and it takes off, oh yeah, believe me, I'll be there. VW Family Farm. Give me a link on that. I don't know. I probably know who that is. I'm not sure. But I can't guarantee I'm going to be there. I don't know. I don't know what the winter is going to hold. Because everything, this is another drawback to being an indie author and selling through Amazon. It doesn't matter how many books sell this month. What are we, December? I won't see the sales from this month until March, the end of March, beginning of April is when, because everything is 3 months behind. They sit on that money and collect that interest for 3 months before they pay out. that's the world that it is. The only other way to get around that is to come directly to me to buy a book. Um, but it is what it is. I mean, that's an indie author. I don't have a publishing house behind me. I paid for everything. Sure, go right ahead. You know, I'm pretty much an open channel. When somebody's got links, that's why you've got wrenches. You got the ability to take out problems and post your links and get the word out for whatever you've got going on. I'm wide open to that stuff. Oh, somebody must have gone live. I lost half my people. I'm not paying attention. No, I don't see a notice. Where did it go? Oh, I hear you. Good morning, my troll. How are you this morning, JCT? Oh, either one, reap what you sow. Whatever information you've got, yeah, please share it. And I'll make sure that I get it in the description when I close this or turn this Hangouts off. Um, I'll make sure I get the link posted in the chat description below so that other people can follow it. It'll help. Hey, that's what it's about, right? Channels helping channels. Did you get a tracking or an estimated time of arrival for that book? Reap what you sow. But yeah, this FTC ruling stuff, you know, it's protecting our kids and the kids of the future. And we're going to see changes, and we're going to see ripples, and we're going to see. It is what it is. People just, you know, too many snowflakes. Everybody wants to instantly react before waiting for the results. Oh. I know. Turn the music on, Ron. Mr. Green Wizard. You're getting quiet and getting boring. You know, my coffee got cold. And now I'm out of coffee. Oh. There we go. There we go. There's the convention. There's the Homesteaders Convention for April, everybody. Check that link out. And I will make sure that that gets posted um, in the comments or in the about section of this video. I know we didn't start out on that, but anyone that probably, well, nobody ever watches these videos this long. It's been an hour. Nobody ever skips to the end to catch all the details. And I don't get that. I would have thought people would have figured that out by now. I always end up a stream, finish a stream off with details, with extra information. So even if you start watching one of my videos and it just sounds like it's going to be one of those long, drawn out borings, because it wasn't specific content in the start of the video, if you skip to the last 2 minutes of the video, you'll pick up any detail that I had gathered up all throughout the video and have something to say, just jump to the end of the video and listen. And that holds extremely true on my other channel. My small channel, my 150 follower channel, whatever. All the detail is buried in the end of my videos over there. So you may watch the beginning of colloidal silver and only go so far into it, or what was the one I just did? The diabetes one. At the end of the diabetes video, for the last 30 seconds, there's extra information added. I always bury that stuff. There's other content being talked about outside of diabetes that I give links for. Well, I tell you to eat an extra donut, but I just said diabetes, so I'm not going to bring up donuts, buddy. Cool. We need more of that. Reap what you sow. We need a lot more of that. We need the religious community to get together and really take a stand. Even if YouTube wants to put us off in our own little section. Oh, just results are shown over here. I'm building up the other channel with what we'll just say health. It's a little more wide open than this because this one has to, because of the publisher, and don't misunderstand. This one has to stick with the book. This one has to be primarily book information. I can't really go off the deep end over here because of the book. It's got to have its own separate reputation, and it's got to have this, and it's got to be laid out, and it's got to this, and it's got to have a yeah. There's other information buried on the other channel. Later on, when you get some free time, look up my name, Ron Neitzel. You're going to see two different channels. The one with 600 plus followers, that's just my moderator computer. It's a completely different computer that I moderate with, because I don't talk about I try not to talk about the book with that. I try not to have anything linked on that. There's a smaller channel with 150 followers. That channel's got stuff buried in it. There's and more coming, because I can say more stuff that's outside the book that talks about health and health issues and home remedies and that kind of stuff that I can't talk about here because this is the book channel. Oh God, how do we used to do that? Give me a second. Let me think. Come on, open up. Yeah. Come on, refresh. I've got full bandwidth. I've got nothing running. Currently 128 followers, 8 videos. Let me see if I can do this. I wouldn't necessarily call it a new channel, Casey. You remember when I was over on Miss Green Thumbs? That computer, we never built the numbers on. We never built the followers on. And that one is buried at this link. It looks like the same name, but it's not. It's a different channel. So it's not a new channel. It's an old one. It's established. It's been there a while. But there are hidden videos in hiding that never got produced, never got publicized, never got, that get hidden at the end of. Now the lowercase Ron, that's the moderator. That's the 600 plus subscribers. The capital RON, that's the other channel that has the videos on it. Because there are videos hidden in the back. You know how you do you can set it for private, unlisted, and just the open video, public video. Well, you can link unlisted. You can't link to private, but you can link an unlisted video so people can hit that link or follow it to watch what's buried there. There's movies over there, full out movies, produced movies. That are buried. You'll never see a link pop up. They're buried in the video. Like I said, it's not a new channel. It's just I'm starting to open up the content over there. Let's say that. Yeah, I'm opening up the content. Because as people come to me and say, "Hey, look, I got this other issue. I got this issue. I got that issue." There's videos over there that I open up to the public that cover those contents, that talk about that stuff. Just like we need to do something about the arthritis issue people are dealing with and contending with. Well, that's a pH balance thing. And when gout kicks in, it's far worse, far worse for the sufferer. Well, you can use cinnamon to start the anti-inflammatory, but it's not going to cure the problem. And that's the last thing doctors want to hear is there's a cure for something. Well, it turns out that 4,000 years ago, the Chinese discovered and figured out that colloidal copper is the cure for gout, but you're not allowed to know that. But it's been in the books for 4,000 years. And by ingesting colloidal copper, not only do you lose gray hair and your natural hair color comes back, you cure gout, you cure arthritis, your joints. The best way to tell if somebody's got a copper deficiency is look for the gray. If they're starting to get gray, they have a copper deficiency. They're open to all sorts of issues, and it's because of lack of copper in their diet. And again, I can say that being the book channel because if your garden is right and you're gardening right, your soils have the minerals in them to put it in the correct plants, to get it ingested into your body and doing it the right way. When you follow the NPK system, copper is not in there. There's 78 minerals, and God only knows how many total vitamins currently available in nature on the planet. But the NPK system would have you believe there's only 12. And that there are 3 key main ingredients to growing a garden: nitrogen, potassium, and potash. That's entirely untrue. And even when you add in the other 9 potential minerals that the NPK process concentrates on, That's when your garden fails. And everybody sits back and goes, I must not be a very good gardener. No, got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with the food web being turned off or killed or stopped by the excessive nitrogen we're dumping in the soil to try and get our plants to turn green. We don't need nitrogen on that kind of level, especially when it's man made nitrogen. No, 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 that's not good. You can get nitrogen during a lightning storm just by hanging a piece of copper over your garden. They don't want to tell you that. See, there's all sorts of these interesting little tricks and tidbits buried in the Green Wizard's Guide. All of these things work. It's getting everybody off the idea that the NPK process is the right way to go. Well, we've proven that. Look how many sick people we have in our country right now. Guess what? The NPK process is being used all over the world and it's killing everybody, not just Americans. We may have the highest obesity because we're basically lazy people wanting everything yesterday, but it's the bad food. We have foods. I want to say this the right way, and I don't want to be misunderstood here. We have foods in our grocery store that are man made chemical foods, man made, that are deadly and are toxic, that were not available 10 years ago, that were never heard of 10 years ago. And we're all buying them on a daily basis because we don't know any better. If it's for sale at the grocery store, it must be safe. And that's what people believe. When you follow my system and you do it nature's way, and I'll correct myself by saying my system, it's nature's system. When you follow nature's system and your garden grows nature's way, you're going to taste foods that have not been available on the planet for 30 years and haven't been in grocery stores for probably 35. The foods you're going to taste out of your own garden are going to blow your mind. And the production is going to be tremendous. And there's no weeds because the soil's right. The weeds will tell you what's wrong. When you go in and amend the soil and correct that issue, the weed goes away. It no longer produces. It takes a certain soil condition for a weed seed to germinate. When you correct the condition of the soil, the weed seed won't germinate. It'll sit there dormant for 200 plus years. And that's scientifically proven already. Plants that we thought were extinct are returning because soil conditions are becoming that bad. Every weed is there for a purpose. Dandelion, great food to eat. But did you know it's also there because you have clay in your soil? Dandelions bore through clay. That's what they're designed for, to break up a clay bed. It's Mother Nature. That's how Mother Nature tears down buildings. Huge cement structures that you would think that, it'll be there for 100 years. Not if Mother Nature gets her hands on it. Understanding nature, understanding what's really going on, going back to what the Indians tried to tell, I'm sorry, the stupid settlers that didn't pass this information along. And if even if they did try and pass it along, it didn't make it to our generation, or we wouldn't be following the NPK process. Oh, yeah, it's all over. Oak flat with tractor pile up the topsoil. Old leaves in the spring. I add to my compost. All those old leaves, reap what you sow, should be on your garden. Trees, the leaves of trees, trees in general, these are rock destroyers. Trees can grow on a mountainside where there's no dirt because there's all rock. Trees mine minerals naturally. Their roots, in combination with the food web is actually the ingester of rocks, but it's feeding the tree what it needs. If you look at the color of leaves, that's the color of the mineral that tree ingested and that tree thrives on. So if you want to find out, in essence, the best way to feed your tree that may be suffering in the fall, you take that leaf and you find out why it is that color, whether it be the color of copper or whether it be the color of fire, or you find out what it is that is making that leaf that color, and that's what that tree needs because it's been farming it out of your soil for however many years that tree has been there. That's why soil appears to shrink. It's not shrinking. Stuff back, everything thrives, including the food web, and everything turns around. So when you pack up your garden for winter, and most people forget this issue, never, ever leave soil exposed to sunlight, rain, what have you. Always cover it. I don't care whether you're growing the Three Sisters and cover crops, or you go in with leaves and compost and whatever. Never leave your soil exposed. So if you're going through the winter season and you pack it up for the winter, bury that thing, put a blanket over your garden, in other words. So when you put the nice Mother Nature's blanket, and it can be hay or alfalfa, wheat, whatever, grass clippings, whatever, the thicker the better, because it allows the food web to continue to thrive. It allows your garden to stay warmer, which assists the food web and brings in more worms and preps it for next year. So with a no-till system, you don't need to be tilling anything. You crack the soil open, you plant what you wish to plant, and you let the soil relax. And you cover, whether it be 1 inch for spring or 3 to 6 inches for snowfall. Never leave your soil exposed. And the food web will thrive uncontrollably all winter long. So don't just take old leaves and throw them in the compost pile and go, hey, 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 we're going to be good to go. Yeah, you may want to rethink that, because if you've got an exposed garden, you're actually hurting the food web. And good morning, Miss Elegant. How are you today, dear? I was talking all sorts of bad about you earlier, but now you're here. I'll be nice. Just like you do to me when I miss your stream. Oh, yeah. Sorry, reap what you sow. I didn't mean to get off on a sermon and whatever, but um, yeah, leaves are incredible resources. Oh, dude, you don't know what you just bought when you bought that book. Casey Detox has the book. Elegant has the very first book that ever came out. She bought the very first one. Uh, the stuff that's in this book, and it's not a normal book. That's what I keep trying to. I can't preach it enough. I'll call it preaching. This is not a normal book. This is like you and me sitting down at coffee in the morning and me telling you about how I garden and how I take care of my yard and why this year in Cleveland, Ohio, I had to cut my grass 42 times every 3 days. I'm cutting my grass because I want the deeper root system. And I'm not cutting it short. I'm cutting it 3 inches. And I'm still cutting, my grass thrives that well. I never water, don't need to. All of this is in the book. And when you read the book, it's like sitting down having a conversation with me. And an hour and a half later, you'll be done with the book. You'll be laughing at some of the things my neighbors have said um, about me and to me, and some other interesting things we've tossed in there for fun. For fun. Some people get this or see the book and they see the book title and go, "Oh my God, the Green Wizard's Guide. This guy's into witchcraft, and this is not going to be Christian, and this is no, 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 no." My neighbors gave me that title, Green Wizard, because it don't matter what I throw in my yard. It's like nothing you've ever seen, and it explodes in my soil. It just doesn't matter. I got a bush, a pine bush that somebody had ripped out of their yard violently with a 4x4, big thing, and left laying in their front yard for 2 weeks with the roots exposed. This thing was brown when I saw it. And I went and I got it and we buried it in my front yard. And this thing came back leaps and bounds the very first year that I put that in the soil. And it has not stopped since. It's huge. That's what happens in my yard. Things that should be dead come back to life in my yard when they hit my soil. Well, when your entire yard is open and the food web is working, you have to understand that under real world conditions, let's call it I believe it was Nebraska. There was a farm ignored for well over 40 years. Ignored. It's like people knew it was there, but the owners had died and nobody touched it and never went up for sale, whatever. A bunch of professors got their hands on this property and they went in and they slid glass down or plexiglass or whatever into the soil 40 feet deep. That's how deep the topsoil was when left to Mother Nature. That's what's capable in your own yard. Now imagine what effect that's going to have on your deep well when your yard is completely absorbing every bit of rain that falls. It could be fog, doesn't matter. My yard's like a vacuum sweeper when there's fog outside. It soaks up everything. You can watch the fog literally coming down the street into my yard and dissipating. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. My yard drinks water like it's nobody's business, and that's going directly into the water table. That will increase the water in your well. Yeah, I looked around a little bit. I didn't spend a whole lot of time with that video. But yeah, when you sit down and read through the Green Wizard's Guide, it's you and me having a conversation. There's no chapters. There's bullet points so you can keep track of things, but read through it and then go back and take notes. And yeah, there's blank pages in there to add notes, to add recipes. There's another video here um, called the Page 29 Update. It's a very short video. Page 29 is blank in the book. Well, some information got missed. So go to the Page 29 Update, listen to the video, and add it into the book. That's the reason for the blank pages, so you can take your own notes. I think I did okay with the book. Everybody seems to like it and they're entertained. And that's key. Nobody wants to go back to school and be bored to tears by some college professor going and or what's that one doing roll call in the morning on Ferris Bueller? Bueller, 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 monotone. Yeah. Nobody wants a book that way. But when you're entertained by something, you tend to remember it better. You're going to be entertained by the Green Wizard's Guide. It's like no other book you've ever read. And I think I sold 2 more copies yesterday. I think. I don't know. There's no way for me to track it and keep an eye on it. But it appears I've lost everybody. I'd ask for roll call, but that never works. Nobody ever raises their hand to actually say they're here. And Elegant, you didn't say how you're feeling. And we're on Hangouts, dear. They've turned it back on. You can go live on Hangouts. You can't bring anybody up, or I don't know how to bring anybody up, but I'm live on Hangouts, on YouTube Hangouts. There's no other program running. I was able to turn on go live right in YouTube. So YouTube Hangouts is turned back on. JCT, are you still here, dear? You said you had the book coming. Did you read it? And we'll give that a few minutes. And yeah, I'm out of coffee. I think I've about had enough. I think I've about said enough. I've been talking for 2 hours about nothing. Oh. So yes, I'll update the information. Oh, don't want to hear that, Elegant. Don't want to hear that at all. But my prayers are with you, dear, and I'm doing everything I can to sell as many books as I can as quickly as I can, so we can talk about the purchase price of the property. Um, and you and I have talked. You're not losing anything if I buy it. Um, all right, Erie Putcha. So I'll talk to you later. I will message you from your garden tour. Have a good day, buddy. um, there's a convention coming up April, that is posted in the link below in the about section. So any of you that have started to figure out that if you watch till the end, you'll catch all the details. I'm 1,150 watch hours to my credit because of all of you great people watching 3-minute videos. Even though I don't have any 3-minute videos, you only stick around for 3 minutes on any of my videos. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, I just got hit with another tremendous bill to keep this book going, but it is what it is. And if you have any friends in the UK that you wish to have this book, or if you're into emptying the bank account of Amazon, please get a hold of your friends in the UK. Tell them to get on Amazon and purchase this book for £3.7, because Amazon made the mistake and lowered the price of my book £7 in England. But they still pay me full price. So get everybody in England that that's on YouTube to purchase the Green Wizard's Guide so that we can empty the bank accounts of Amazon and hand it to Elegant Homestead so I can move to her 200-acre farm. Sounds like a plan. So, everybody, appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you stopping in. My prayers are with you, Elegant. I will be looking to see you on any other stream this morning. Hope all is well. Everybody, God bless. I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out. Y'all have a great day. And we'll see you around the streams, everybody. God bless. Have a good day.